of my YouTube viewers and subscribers. We're trying to get things in place here as I continue to evolve um, my channel from being more than just me playing music or teaching lessons, but to have conversations. So, excuse me if I'm moving around the microphones, if I'm looking at different monitor screens, and if I'm engaging in the chat room. Let me just post my hello. How was everyone's New Year? How is everyone's New Year going so far? There we go. Welcome, and forgive me if I don't try to pronounce your name. I'm sure you could do it better than me, but thanks for coming in and spending some time with me on this here, at least here in the United States, the first Sunday or the second day of the new year. As I say, I am trying to evolve my channel. I've been on YouTube since, and it's so hard to believe, since 2006, and hundreds of videos, lessons, uh, several live streams that I've done. But I'm now looking to become more live podcast, how can I say, content creator, more than just teaching you how to how to do music, but to have conversation also. So if you see me rearranging things around here, um, hopefully that my sound is coming through okay. As I say, I'm looking at upgrading this microphone to one that is content creator worthy. I'll put it like that. So you let me know. You let me know if you can't hear me or if it sounds scratchy. I may have to do that upgrade a lot sooner than what I have planned. But again, thanks for those who have been supporting me all of these years. I believe we currently sitting at 25,500 subscribers. Let me just verify that. I don't like to giving out erroneous information. Just checking out my dashboard where we're at. Okay, 25,370 subscribers. And although the ones from day one may not be there, I'm thankful for them sharing my channel with others who come and see what I'm actually doing here. Music has been a integral part of my life. It hasn't been my whole life, but since at the age of 8, when I began to start getting some instructions from public school here in the United States and New York City area, the public schools used to give kids 45 minutes of music. So I didn't choose vocal because I can't sing, but I did choose to learn how to play the recorder or the flute as we called it back then. And that's where it all started. That's where the love of music came into play. Someone else joined us, I believe. Oh, and thank you. I'm gonna say Jesse. I'll say Jesse. I can pronounce that. Thanks for letting me know that the sound is clear. Um, if you have any questions, again, this is why I'm building towards creating a podcast environment. I use the OBS software, which I am delving myself more into. As you see, I have an opening screen. I'm always looking for what type of opening screen should I have so that there's a beginning, a middle, that's the conversation, and then there is an end, which will probably still be the actual opening screen. But I'd like to know how you guys are doing out there. What are your goals musically? I know I can always take apart a song within 30 minutes and create a video, and I've actually done that. But I want to know how you're doing, what you're doing, have some conversation about different kinds of music that maybe I'm not open to yet. I know I did one reaction video, the last one that I had put up, which I thought I can skirt some of the YouTube copyright. What is the word I want to use? Requirements, and no, they actually flagged the video, even though I tried to keep it down to less than 20 seconds of playing. Um, it has a copyright, not a strike, but a copyright notice. Hey, Johnny, how you doing? And which is good because I'm actually fighting it because I felt that I followed with the guidelines as to taking someone else's content and transforming it into an educational video, which is what I did that entire video. I didn't play the entire song. I played parts of it. I spoke to the chord structures. I spoke to how the background singers were singing and flashed in between my keyboard and the music to show this is how this chord is formed. But apparently, it's still up for review. And I told them, if I'm doing something wrong, please tell me because I don't want to infringe on another person's music. But if I can help transform that music for guys out there like Johnny who wants to practice more on his technique, I can say, look at this song, look at how the technique they use to emulate this sound using a piano, using an organ, or using synth sounds. I like to be able to know that I can do that and not infringe. I certainly wouldn't have no problem with all the 600 plus videos I have if someone wanted to tear apart my style. I have no issue with that. Johnny, you need to practice more on your technique. Give me an idea. Are you looking to, let me see, build chords, build fingering technique, or just be able to transform a song that you learn and make it your own? That's kind of a fully loaded question, but sometimes I can understand something more if I can have a full picture. I know when I was a young musician, I had an issue with I could hear musicians play little trills on the organ on the piano, and because I had an understanding of chords already, I wanted to learn how did you do that, and they would not show me. They would hide their hands or they would stop playing. So I had to memorize it in my head, and when I got a chance to get to a piano or an organ, I would try to emulate what they were doing, and it took months, or I'll even say years. But once I was able to, as I say, deconstruct how they move their fingers, I go, oh, that's all that they're doing. It's like learning an actual jazz run. If you knew that a jazz run was a broken scale, just moving the notes around, you get a deeper knowledge of how they actually approach those notes by how they move their fingers across the keyboard, which means you'll have to hear them play it and then watch their fingers move versus looking at a sheet music and knowing that they're doing a C, D, E, A, D, G. Which fingers are they using? Most times on sheet music, you don't see the actual finger movement. But if you were looking at, let's just change my scene here. Okay, there goes the mic. Got to keep doing this as I change scenes. If someone was playing a jazz run and you wanted to know, well, how do they do that jazz run? Excuse me, got my headphones dropping all over the place. And someone was actually playing that jazz run, and they're in the key of C, and you go, okay, well, if he went you would hear that as a listener. But if you never saw what fingering they were using, you would get discouraged. Okay, I want to make sure that the volume was getting through. I can hear a person doing a jazz run in a key, and I could gauge, well, where they are. know that because I practice scales all the time, how to get to each of those notes. I'm just making it up as I'm going, but I'm hearing in my head what I want to do. So if there are chords involved with it, I can hear it. I know what chords have been associated by other musicians playing those kinds of runs, maybe not exactly, but just practicing it like that. Again, I'm not a jazz musician, but I am taking jazz courses or looking at other content creators who teach jazz so that I can understand the mind of a jazz player. Of course, when you've been a church musician for 100% of your life, you always borrow from different tonalities in the music that you're learning. But there's always that desire to say, "Gee, what if I was a jazz musician? How would I have approached um, what's one of the more familiar jazz tunes?" I don't want to infringe on anyone's copyright. Autumn Leaves. Hmm. I'm probably getting it wrong. Now that I'm hearing it, and it's just a song that cycles around chords. That melody. There it is. As I hear the chords that support a particular melody, I begin to emulate what a jazz player goes through. He has a set sort of chords that he's going to work around, and he goes free, willy nilly on those chords. So that's what I'm looking to. I do scales, but when I play, I don't really apply the fingering. I want to be as fluid with notes of chords, like implementing 6-1-2-5 or 1-6-2-5. Okay, one root, six minor, two minor, five, either a major or a seventh. I'm learning the number system my way. When someone speaks in that format, I try to now assign chords to the numbers. When a song starts in C, but the next chord is in F, what can be done to make it sound nice instead of being stale for multiple bars? Oh wow, I did a whole, and I forget which live video I did on transition chords and how to get to different chords. In the case from one to a five, uh, my own how can I put it? My own approach to it was three concepts: walking, taking a car, or taking a plane, which is quick ways of getting from the one to the five. You can either walk, which means walk chords up to the five. You could take a, let me see, walk, right? What did I say? Walking, driving, taking a plane. I forgot the concept now. Walk chords, or yeah, taking the train, which is shorten the chords to get there, or taking the plane, just jump from one. So you say from, if you're on C but you want to go to the next chord, which is F. Let me just change over, give you an idea of what I'm talking about. If you're in C, make sure the mic is still up. If you when you're in C, and let's see, I'm trying to pick what is a song that would be appropriate from C to get to the F. Okay, yes. What a friend we have in Jesus. That's from a one. There's the one. There's the four or the F. That's for me is taking a plane. One chord. Or that's the concept of going from one chord from the one right to the four. Was it five or four? Let me just make sure I got you correct. Yeah, right, to the F chord, to the fourth chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. Plane. If you want to walk, I just took a walk there. I just added what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chords. I just added 5 chords. I took a stroll, what I call walking. To get to the 4. The plane is just what a friend we have. Not just let me see, not plane. Train is train method. Just throw one chord, and then you're to the 4. Still gets you there, but from a timing standpoint, depending upon the tempo of the song, lets you know which way do you want to take to get there? Do you want to get there as quickly as possible? What a friend we have in G, which is, hymn book version. If I'm making sense. Another path I would do if I'm going to walk. What can we have? Now I just went a whole different way. Still got from the one chord family where the melody is to the 4 chord family where the melody continues. You just want to know the techniques you can use to get there so that it doesn't sound stale. It's still concept of scales. If you walked, I just walked there. Walked there a different way. Took a different path, but still walked. If I'm going to do train, to me, that's my train version, which is like jazz. Jazz chord. Same concept. Now those are the jazz chords, which you can apply to help you build a way up so that it doesn't sound, as you say, stale. If I gave you a pretty good idea of a different path that you could possibly take. Is it endless? No. Let me just catch some of your questions. What is your recommendation? I have to play for an hour of soft music for a funeral. Ooh. They're not really in church, so they should still play worship songs. I have... I'm trying to remember where it is. I should be able to bring it up. I did a workbook years ago, back in 2009, where I gave you a listing of songs for every kind of service a musician could find themselves in. Let me see if I can bring up that workbook and share it here. Let me just going through my files to activate it so I can bring it up. These will give you some ideas what you can possibly do. If you just give me a second, I'm searching for it now. Where's the workbook? Here it is. Okay. Hopefully this workbook has it. I did so many workbooks, but I wanted to incorporate. We just look at the standard hymns used in the Pentecostal Church, page 12. I should be able to bring this. Let me see what I could bring up so I can bring this up so you can look at this. Let's go to Actually, I should be able to do this where we are right here. Let me just wait. Let's see. I have so many pages I built. Let's see. Can I put? I'm looking for a page where I can actually bring it up so that you could see it. Let me see if I can bring it up in this page we're in right now. Let me just go right here, because you have a very good question. I actually prepared information to be able to give musicians an one up, depending upon what situation they find themselves in. Let me just capture this window. Let me just name this workbook. Alrighty, now let's find the window where it's in. Where are you? What's it called? Yeah, it's called workbook. Ah, there it is. Alright, so give me a chance to manipulate the image so that it doesn't look so. Let's just move me around. Get that out of the way. Okay, so this is a workbook that I created back in 2009. These are some of the things that I put. In fact, let me go back to the front page of this workbook because this is important. I wanted musicians to be prepared, to be, especially for what the question that you actually have. So I prepared this workbook back in what's 2011. This was when I had revamped it for 2011 course. I don't do this course anymore, but I kept all these workbooks. This is a, move that over a little bit. See if I can expand this. There we go. So, a little bit about me, some of the stuff I was doing, and I gave you a table of contents: piano tips and techniques, minor scale practice, piano keyboard scales, chord practice, and then for the intermediate musician, hymnal standards used in Pentecostal church, page 12. So we'll go to page 12. As you can see, I chocked this book full of information. Let me see, page 12, right? Why is page 12? Doesn't have what I'm supposed to be on page 12. Okay, here we go. Let me just expand this just a bit, because I wanted musicians to have something that they can work from. So here you see processional, seasonal selections, Easter, prayer chants, opening hymns. Did I put funerals in there? Intercessory prayer. Oh, I didn't do funerals on this one. Ah, okay. And you say hard for playing for people who are not in church. Oh, Mako, welcome. Thank you. Um, believe it or not, you can use a lot of these songs here where it says invitational prayer. Come to Jesus, I surrender all just as I am. I've decided to follow Jesus. Pass me not, O gentle Savior. These are songs that are appropriate at any time, especially during a funeral. If you have a bunch, I shouldn't say a bunch, if you have a congregation of unchurched people, they won't know any of these songs. But if you play them in a, if not in a jazzy content, they will do what these songs do. They actually calm people down whose minds may be racing. Let's see if I can increase this page a little more so that you can get a better, I'll take me out of the picture. As you can see, I broke this down so that a musician can prepare themselves to be able to play at any time. So let's look at what would be a good song you could use while you have a church full of people who are coming in to, and they're feeling bad. Now, one song I don't have here is Come Ye Disconsolate, but I do have a video of the song Come Ye Disconsolate, which is an appropriate selection to be played no matter who's in the audience. But let's see, if we look at this list, we could throw in there Blessed Assurance is always a standard. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine, heir of salvation, purchase of God, born of his spirit, washed in his blood. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. Now, if you did that in an actual ballad tempo to the people who are not accustomed with being in church all the time, very appropriate song. Great is Thy Faithfulness, another appropriate song. Oh, How I Love Jesus. Everyone knows that song for in a funeral setting. Very apropos. Let's see what else we can give you as a starter. I Surrender All, appropriate. Just As I Am, appropriate. Now I'm in the invitational prayer section of this. Pass me not, O gentle Savior, appropriate. What a Friend We Have in Jesus, very appropriate. No, Not One, very appropriate. There's not a friend like the lowly Jesus. They're putting the key of F right. There's not a friend like the lowly Jesus. No, not one. No, not one. And these are songs that, as you say, a congregation who are not churched. You can make it a medley of songs in between people who are having something to say, and what you're looking for to do is to set an atmosphere of music that in the midst of people who are in sorrow. Be nice if you had someone who could actually sing it properly, I should say, to give words to the music, but not, again, it's not an issue. Going down the second side, let's skip to Easter. Because He Lives, another appropriate song. I Can Face Tomorrow. Again, congregational selections. Okay, I think that's all we can pull from here. But most of your funeral services, they go longer than an hour. Something is wrong, really. Unless you got a choir and a soloist. And usually if you have a soloist, if they are churchy, then they're probably singing I Won't Complain or Precious Lord, Take My Hand. And I do have those videos up on my page for learning how to play the chord, how to chord behind them. But this is one workbook that I put together. I try to reach every type of musician. As you say, I'm trying to remember. You said I do scales, but when I play, I don't really apply the fingering. This is the fingering for scales and the notes. So if you're not a sheet music reader, this booklet was to help to begin you to start to become a sheet music reader. You could get a hymn book, and any song that's in the key of C, you will know where the notes are and what finger gets placed or can be placed on that note. I know I'm hiding in the background here. Let's see if we can pull me out. There we go. I'm still here. I haven't left. That put me right there. Let's see what else we put in. Put a lot in this book, because my desire was to get the church musician who've never had a formal teacher as prepared as possible to be comfortable, because most times you're in a real time situation. Somebody starts singing a song you've never heard, and if you don't know how to place a melody in the context of a scale and how to chord that scale based upon the notes that they're singing, you'll be, as they say, dumbfounded. You'll probably stop playing or start using every chord you've used in every song, and you would get frustrated. You feel like, why was I even here? In most cases, you don't want some other musician sliding you off. Back in my day, they used to slide you off the organ if you weren't cutting it. There was always somebody who could play better, and they had no problem sliding you off the organ, because the idea was that you can't ruin a service. You only get one chance to do a service correctly, and if you're unprepared, which I learned early in my age, when you're unprepared, then you need to be slid off and go back to, as they say, to the woodshed and prepare yourself. So that's why I put together this workbook. This is probably number 5 out of the workbooks that I put together. Be still, know that I am God. Last week, and I eventually picked it up. Yeah, be still and know that I am God. That's the Clark versions. Clark Sisters version. Even I'd have to look back and see what was the melody. But again, once I hear a hymnal melody, it always stays the same. Chorus and verse has their own melody, and once you feel where the notes are going, the 1-4-5-6 pattern fits anything in that concept. What else did I give you here? Oh, those when I had my products, which I don't have anymore. And these were some advanced chord progressions in helping out church musicians who were new to the organ and did not know what they were doing. I would give them presets that I had garnered over the years. I'd make it available to them. And then I put together a bunch of do's and don'ts, because usually when you're a new musician and a church brings you in, it's not, you can actually figure it out, but there is a do's and don'ts. And again, sometimes when there's no one there around to tell you don't do that, you'll assume, well, it's okay if nobody says anything. But then you don't want to get the weird looks and people going after you have ministered, and they say and you want to know why they're going Well, you may have done one of these do's and don'ts. Let's see. We need to teach this course because some musicians just don't get it. I'm at revival tonight where my church has the host church. The musician for the pastor preaching revival isn't present. So as a musician for the host church, I play. Now there is a guest church choir. Their musician asked me to play for her on the organ as her choir sings. She is very old school, so I play with her using old school changes and not playing over her. Cool. How about when the preacher gets up, instead of her taking her out of style, playing self back to us? I don't know what that means. She insists upon playing with me. Okay, she's probably playing the piano. She's playing all over the place, which I was concentrating on supporting. But I don't remember this. And doesn't follow me at all. I gave up and let her have to. I gave her all I'm the organ, I got this signals. Okay. But she doesn't have a clue. Back in my younger days, I would have unplugged the keyboard. Okay. Boy, I don't remember this. Maybe I was using this as an example. I'm actually reading this like I'm reading it for the first time. Okay, I may have just put this together as an example. I don't remember going through this in my days as a church musician, but the uh, concept is the same. You find yourself as a church musician in avenues you never thought that you would be in, and if this just is just as an example that I'm using here as to what could possibly happen, you want to be prepared. Let's see what else I want. Don't musicians understand any protocol anymore? It's just plain rude not to play together instead of going your own way when you're a guest in another church. I love playing with other musicians. I often learn a lot from them. But clueless folk like tonight work my nerves and makes me mad. Okay, this must have happened. I don't just put stuff like this together. But when folks don't check their egos at the door and want to show they can play as well when they can't, we got problems. Yeah, okay, this must have happened to me. Oh, a quote from a church musician. Okay, it's not me. I'm just saying. I'm reading this and I'm saying, when did this happen to me? So apparently, I must have looked at someone's quotes on a site somewhere, and I made this part of this booklet to let musicians know this can possibly happen to you. You can be in find yourself as a guest musician in someone else's church, and the host church musician, which happens a lot. I experienced that in my days. They're not there when the service starts, and because you're a musician, when you see someone start up to start singing, it's like, chalk on a chalkboard. You're like, gee, I can help them. I can help guide them. I can be a help, even though I'm in someone else's house. It's like if you're a cook and someone is preparing the meal and you arrive and they haven't started frying the chicken yet. Well, you go, well, I know how to fry chicken. And then you get in there and you start cleaning and preparing it, and then you're ready to fry it. Then when it's almost done, here they come. And they say, no, I got this. Well, if you got this, why come you weren't here when it started? Then you sort of want to finish what you started. And then they get in there, they turn the fire up too high, they start adding seasoning, and now it's horrible. Yeah, I've been the musician that's in these comments here. But these are the type of things that I put in this book. And Johnny, here are some progressions in C that I created to help musicians get comfortable with playing chords with both hands and foot pedal. So when it says bass, that means for the foot pedal for an organ. Now, if you can reach over with your right hand, with your pinky hand on the keyboard, and play these chords, then that will also help you to get comfortable playing chords that you may not play all the time. Let me just read your comments. I'm watching that too. I play for a Caucasian church, and their chord structure is a bit different. They do a lot of Southern gospel, like the game. Well, and that is how can I put it? That's a good thing, because now you can add seasoning to those chords. Let me see if I can give you an idea to one of the Gaither type songs. There's a Gaither song. What is the title of that song? Something Beautiful. Something Beautiful, which I had never heard before. So when the pastor of the church, in the Methodist church I was playing for, said, I want to do this song, Something Beautiful. It was actually in the United Methodist Hymnal. I said, okay, I've never played this song. I've never heard of this song before. And it was written by the Gaithers. E flat. Something good. He understood. kind of like that. But so once I got comfortable from the hymnal, looking at the song, I go. Then I knew where the chords are going. Dun, da, 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 something good. He understood. And again, all I could offer him was brokenness, and but he made something beautiful. I've got the words all wrong, but a Gaither song that, and they would sing the song. It only those were the only verses, so they would sing it over and over. So rather than keep playing the same chords, I began to look at, okay, let's go a little bit jazz, something or contemporary, something good. All of my disappointments, he understood. There it is. I gave this song that as I began playing it more and more, I became more comfortable where the melody is going. Then I knew that I can, again, the walk ups. Even now, as I hear the song, I'm applying different walk ups, different changes, different ways to approach to be able to support where the melody is going. Again, no one in a church really sings three-part harmony unless your choir is adapted reading sheet music. So you can affix many chords to a melody. So if you were in the number system, this is the one. You're still in the one. Now you're going to the 5. Still in the 5. Now you're going to the 4. 5. 2. The 1, 2, 3. Back to the 4. Trying to think of the numbers around these chords. To the 5, still in the 5, and back to the 1, and you throw that gospel turnaround in there. So yes, the Gaither songs are the songs that you can. Let me take this. Let me see anything else I want to cover here. These chords that you see right here, that I put in my book, are some of the chords you just saw me playing. Not maybe in the key of C, but if you were to move these chords into the key of E flat, these are some of the chords I was just playing. Of course, preacher chords, which you don't probably don't do preacher chords in a Caucasian church. I gave you some history moment about hymns, how they were written, and then I gave sheet music for your more accomplished musicians, how to be able to play the not just traditional hymns, but some of your more contemporary ones. This didn't break out right. I have to go back to the program and figure why that didn't come out right. Then my most famous part of this book was the chord reference charts, where if you say, I don't know many chords, well, in this booklet, I gave you my listing of every chord in every key, every fingering of it. and you see the name of the chord, how it looks on sheet music, how it looks on a keyboard, and all the different inversions, which was the word I meant. And each of the chords you see me play is from this book. All the different inversions that I use, once I hear what it sounds like and how I can apply it to a melody in every key, this is where I got that understanding. And this is what I made available when I was doing my website, teaching, instructing in gospel music, was a free download for whosoever will. Now let's see if I can fix what I did here. Let's move this out of the way. Let's bring Sam back into the picture. There we go. I don't know why that's probably back there. That's why that's showing. Okay, here we go. Back to some semblance of normal. But yes, this is the fun part that I enjoyed about, take this off, that I enjoyed about instructing in music was being able to share the knowledge that was a part of my life with every musician who wanted to understand the position of a church musician. As I say, things are changing now. The music has changed. It's not the same as what it used to be, and I'm aware of that. So because it has changed, well, no, it's not a purchase. I'll gladly share this book with you. Let me give you my Gmail account, and you got it. Just typing in my Gmail account. Just email me, and I will send it right to you. Typing with my left hand, so there we go. No, that's not right. That is not right, because I was typing with my left hand. Let me type correctly. All right. Verify that I typed it in correctly. Okay. So, yeah, just email me and I'll just send it to you. I probably, in when I would monitor my old account, close to 500,000 downloads of this book and others that I have that I would make available to church musicians. Again, I don't know who those people were who downloaded it, but I was happy to be able to share some knowledge um, that I had learned over the years. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. Oh, J.PD, show them jazz chords. Oh, well, did I just show that to you? As I say, am I a jazz musician? No, I wouldn't dare try to. Am I? What am I a a musician who's learned his trade as a gospel church musician, which means can I walk into any church and adapt to the style of music that they're singing and be able to be confident and fluent in being able to play through an entire service, no matter which it is, no matter what season it is? Yes, I am able to do that. Even as a retired musician, I still keep my skills up. Not that I'm looking to go back and be a church musician. I'm looking to evolve into more than just a musician. And I realized that my era of music has changed. No longer are they based really 100% off of a hymnal or off spirituals or a touch of anthems or even the traditional gospel. It is a different mindset of music, which I realized that, sometimes you have to know when it's time to walk away on top. So when I retired, I wasn't a struggling musician who couldn't keep up with the music. I was bored by it because it was not challenging enough for me. I would rewrite it. I do need to learn the business side of things. Like, instance, is the funeral I'm doing tomorrow, like they want me to play an hour before the funeral. Should you upcharge for that? If you don't know the family, if they're not a member of the church that you play for, I would say yes, because that's like playing for two services. Now, if it's a wake and it's going from a wake into the service, then you're kind of like already there. Funerals are touchy because um, oh, I think you did show some jazz chords. I can't remember. Oh, sorry about that. Funerals are touchy because if you, as you say, the congregation you're going to have may be unchurched, that means you could probably start playing straight jazz and they will sit there and enjoy it. Um, I'm trying to think. What is um, a non-church tune that you could play at a funeral? Because there are some out there. I'm just racking my mind now. Not that I would do it, but I mean, there are some. When the Saints go marching in, you can make that a jazz tune. Or when the Saints go marching in, or you could do. Oh goodness, there are so many songs now that my head is now racking through songs. Oh, I have no problem with that because generally an hour should be as from what you're required to do a funeral. But when they ask for another hour, then yes, you should, because I'm sorry, time is money. Especially if you're there and they're late, which is what happens. They're waiting on the last family member to show up, and so now you've got to come up with more songs, which is why I see why you want to have a list of songs. So I'm going to give some more to you if you've never heard them before. There are songs that the Hawkins have done. There are songs that Thomas Whitfield has. Thomas Whitfield? No. Yeah, Thomas Whitfield songs has done. And I don't have that list written out for you. So let me see if I can do this here. And I'll give you some additional songs that you can look at. Again, I like this format. Text file. Let's call this songs for funeral. All right. Give me a chance to type real quick. Songs that you can perhaps also play from Thomas Whitfield. Let me just move my. I want to keep my. Okay, looking at you. From Thomas Whitfield, and I do have a video on this one. Soon as I get home. Is that the title? What is the title? Oh, I Shall Wear a Crown. That's it. I Shall Wear. Thomas Whitfield. I do have a video on that one. I Shall Wear a Crown. That's from Thomas Whitfield. From Kirk Franklin. I'll See You Again. Is that one? I'll See You Again. When I get home. I think it's I See You Again. I think that's the title. I'll just put that down. I'll cover it again. I'll See You Again. This is Kirk Franklin. This is for that hour that you're there before, without having to go through your church standard songs. Um, who did one? Oh, okay. So you can add Andre Crouch's "Let the Church Say Amen." Can you do that one? Yeah. No, not that one. Um, don't know who did this one. When the battle is over, I shall wear a crown. I'm going through my listing of songs. When I needed to play music while I'm waiting on people to show up. I shall wear a crown. Um, what is the next one? I'm thinking of the artist first and then trying to tie a song to it. These are the ones that you really have to find in the hymnal. May the works I've done speak for me. No. What is that song? I see it in my mind. I'm trying to remember. I have to hear the lyrics so I can hear the notes to it. Wow. I'm trying to think. Did I have all these things written down somewhere? Myrna Summers and Timothy Wright, Uncloudy Day. Again, if you want to just go church-wise. Oh, they tell me of a home. What else is there? Oh, you're seeing all this stuff showing up big there, and you shouldn't be. Uncloudy Day. How many did I give you? That's 4. Let's give you another one. And I want to think Hawkins. What did they call that song? It's a Hawkins number they did. Okay, we'll drop that. And we'll give you My Tribute by Andre Crouch. To God be the glory. There we go. My Tribute. Did I spell that right? Let's be an L in there, shouldn't there? Butte. Tribute. No, maybe not. Alright, let's bring some. See, when you do this live, this is what happens. Let's, no, get me there. Come on. Nope. Put that back. Okay, just trying to give some order to what I just did here. All right, get me out of the way a little bit. And I'll give you a synopsis of these songs. Put you right there. Okay. Thomas Whitfield, I Shall Wear a Crown. As I say, there is a video already up. Let's change my scene so I can show you some of these chords. Let's see. I Shall Wear a Crown. And again, you're not nobody's going to be singing this, so you'll just be playing it in E flat. I shall wear a crown. I shall wear a crown. When it's all over. Nice full jazz chords, because Thomas Whitfield was a jazz musician who played gospel. All over. I shall see his face. Again, if you like numbers, this would be the 6, right? You're right. When it's all over, when it's all over, and then walk up, boom, I'm going to put on my robe and tell the story how I made it over. A nice ballad type of song where you can catch the minds of the people and you get some exercise also. I'm going to put on my robe and I'm stretching it out. Soon as I get, there it is, home. So that change. Soon as, and then from the G flat to a B flat, get home. All right, that was that one. I think I said, when the battle is over, I shall wear a crown. These are the songs I learned back in my day. Was it in C? When the battle is over, we shall wear a crown. 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 It may be a little higher. Sing, because I always, again, learn the lyrics so that I can understand where the melody is going, and then I can see how do I want to approach the song. Again, basic chords. Jazz chords. What was the other one I gave you? Oh, My Tribute, which is Andre Crouch. How shall I say thanks for the things you have done for me? It may seem like it's a little bit out of the ordinary, but as you say, you're playing for a congregation who won't know this song, but the very melody and the music will hit them where it really counts, what they're feeling at that moment, and what will touch their heart. Because I'm sure there's going to be someone in the audience who does know these songs. All jazz chords. I love the full chords. Now, unless you know the verse, there's no need to go to the verse. See, what was the other song I gave? Just gonna flash over real quick. Oh, Uncloudy Day. I won't put that up there. I See You Again. That was. Oh, my brother Virgis came in. Hey, welcome. Um, what was that? I See You Again. That was, I'm trying to remember, was that Hawkins or was that Kirk Franklin? Well, you can do the search on YouTube. I think this is Franklin. I'll see you again. When the sun is always shining, I'll see you again. There'll be no more. Where the sun is always shining, and then just tell me, wait till I see you again. Wow, that may be a little bit much. Again, these are the songs that I came up with as a church musician. Once I learned them, maybe the choir couldn't quite get it, but because of how they were musically constructed, see you again. Always shining. See you again. Troubles be no more. We'll hold hands together. And we gather all the things would hardly wait till I come to you again. Till we meet. Diminish. So you have to imagine how much music that I don't play anymore. Yet the minute I tap into it, all of a sudden, all those songs that were synonymous with being a musician, all of a sudden, no, I could be small. I know Kirk Franklin did one also that is suitable for funeral plays. For those that are watching, my brother Virgis Talbot, he is the oldest in my family of the boys who have been playing. So I was uh, the guy in the back who would listen to all this playing and couldn't figure out what I was doing. If I showed you what the only thing he showed me, you would probably laugh, but I still remember it. He showed me how to roll my fingers over the keyboard, and that was the first song that he taught me. And I'm going to show that to you. He taught me. My oldest brother Virgis taught me this. That's what my brother showed me at 10 years old when I wanted to learn how to play. Hmm. Yeah, that's what you taught me, and I haven't forgotten it. I mean, I could change it around if I wanted to. Anyway, haven't done that since then, but that's what siblings do. We help one another out. So, Johnny, I hope I've given you a bigger palette of potential chords that you could. Let's get rid of this. Of potential songs that you could adapt to the current list. Verges, I don't know the Promise. I'd have to listen to the Promise to understand where their song is. Oh yes, Going Up Yonder. Where am I going? A that's the natural standard. That's Crouch, Sandra Crouch. Du-du-du-du-du-du. That's where I finally learned this run. That's a standard. That's one of those standard hymns that are appropriate that can be used. I'd like to acknowledge people who have joined. Sorry that I sometimes get caught into showing something. Of course, my brother Verges, thank you for coming in. You must have caught my notification. I didn't go live on my Facebook page because I realized that everybody's there now doing church services. It's still Sunday, 5:14 over here, East Coast time. So let's be sure I didn't leave anybody. I think you did show some jazz chords. That is J. Dot. Because I told them it's okay, that's the upcharge. You do 15 minutes, okay. Just reading down my comment section. Make sure I missed anything. My brother came in at 5 o'clock. People who want something to play in past moment always had to pre-list, need ready for those services. Yes, always have a list and have an extra list. And then if the service is slow getting started, stretch the song out by changing keys 3 or 4 times. That's how you stretch out that list when it starts to get kind of bare. Let's see. Okay, I think I have caught up with all the comments. So yes, this music thing for me has been an epic journey because I also worked a full-time job while learning all these songs. Had a family, raised 2 children into 2 adults, and now they're on their own. So this time where I have right now, I am now going to be, as my mother used to always say, if the Lord says the same, in 4 months, be celebrating my 66th birthday. And I still have a love for music. Take these off, I'm not playing. I still have a love for music and what's the word? I won't say thriving, but a hunger to increase what I already know. So not just being able to play for a church, but if I ever wanted to put together a jazz band myself, which would be a piano, bass player, and a drummer, I don't have enough jazz tunes to be able to support that. Chords, yes. So where is the book I have? I'm looking to see. I purchased a jazz book so that I could educate myself. I'm looking to see where I put that book because it's. Hold on, let me go see if I can find it over here. Okay, that's bad on my part. Where is that book I purchased that has 600 jazz tunes in it? So you can see where my mind was. I'm just looking to see in all the places I store things. It was supposed to be handy. So anytime I want to reach for it, all right, so after this stream, I'm going to have to tear apart down here. I probably stuck it behind several other books that I have here. I'm looking at. I've got lined up and in place. But I invested in a book that has all the jazz tunes, 600 of them, in the keys that they were written in, where I could learn the melodies and become comfortable. Where if I wanted to do a 30-minute jazz set, I'd go in that book and find the standards that every jazz musician would know, every drummer would know, and just play the chords and play the melody around it, play a part. If that's an avenue I decide to go down, you may hear in this year of 2022, me leaning more towards the jazz touch and the jazz feel in some new music that I will create, not just trying to take a hymn and make it jazzy, but create new music. That's that creative part of jazz where you take a riff, an 8-bar, 16-bar riff, and allow your mind to intermix anything that you are feeling at that very moment. So I've got a keyboard that will allow me to create tracks, a running bass track, and just loop it, loop some kind of chording behind it, and just go to town, just to play what I'm feeling right at that exact moment. That's in my future. Again, not just limiting myself to one particular sound. Because as you hear, when I delve back into my past, I'll mess it up when I first started, but all of a sudden the chords will begin to click, the melody begin to click, and I'll go, okay, yes, this is the path of the song. Here's the path I added to it, and here's how I can make it sound. That's that fun part of music that I'm trying to, in these type of settings right now, I want to be able to pass on, that it is not a chore. Johnny, I know you say that you want to up your technique. What's good is to, and I always recommend musicians to go to the early Richard Smallwood music. That's where I cut my teeth on the classical jazz sound, no, classical gospel sound, I should say. Thomas Whitfield gave me the contemporary jazz gospel sound from learning behind Thomas Whitfield, which I still don't have down. I do know some of his songs, but the ones where he really just cut his teeth, like I think I gave you "I Shall Wear a Crown." That's light music compared to some of the songs that he's written. He's left us way too soon, because there was much more that I would have studied and learned. And I think I still have his cassette of "And They Played a Hymn," and there's no hymn songs on there. He played them as he felt them. What was that one song he did from that album? I'm just trying to remember. "And They Played a Hymn." "Nothing But the Blood of Jesus." Nothing but the blood, nothing but the blood, nothing but the blood, nothing but the blood. Let me see if I can remember that. Again, I like to give you guys some of my history in this music. I believe he did it in the key of F. It up. Wow. Again, songs that were not played by everybody, but from a musician standpoint, from a musician standpoint, to be able to hear another musician interpret a song that was a hymn in the way he felt to play it, and then to learn from him, not directly. Again, YouTube has afforded me the opportunity to share not just my love of music, but how I approach it, how I approached it from the love others have for it, where you can actually see the notes, you can see the fingering. I just butchered that from where it was actually done. But I was in my mind. I'm going. These were those chords that were not written, that they were not penned out, and that no one said, "Here, this is what that this chord is." If I had to listen to that song again, I would delve deep into where's his root chord at, and in what note did he just add to change it. That's the approach today that I would use. Back then, it was how can I sound like this chord? Today, I would approach it from how I do it now, where's his root chord, where's his first note, where's his highest note, where's his lowest note, and what's in between, and how did he get there? Burgess, I already covered He's All I Need when I was giving Johnny some um, additional music he can play for that 1 hour before the funeral that he's been requested to play. And that's probably half a dozen more that I can't bring to mind right now because I'm doing a live stream. But I think I've given Johnny a plethora of songs that he can go research on YouTube that can help fill um, the time and space that's needed. And of course, there's always going to be someone who may want to walk up and do a solo. So be prepared to do I Won't Complain, um, His Eyes on a Sparrow, Precious Lord, Take My Hand. Be prepared for those songs because someone will come up. Those are the three major standard songs people sing at a funeral. Um, there's a fourth one. When I've given the best of my service. Nobody sings that anymore. When I've given the best of my service, telling the world the Savior's gone, be not despairing. What is the title? I gotta play it so I can try to remember. Because, again, well, you say you're going to be with, and I gotta remember that you're going to be as a congregation of people who don't go to church, so you may not hear standards that were 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old. But I think, as I said, if you find a comfortable song, no, that's not the song I was thinking. It's when you've given the best of your service, telling the world that the Savior has come. Be not dismayed, but be die. Say, well done. Is it well done? Lord, if I come, when I've given the best of my service. Like, well, again, that's if you have someone in the congregation that who is a singer and is from that an era of church that doesn't exist anymore in this new globalized music setting where you only need 4 or 5 chords to sing a song. Just make up the words or sing the same words. What somebody calls 7-11, 7 words 11 times. I didn't make that up. Someone said that, and I said, "Yeah, you're right. 7 words, and you sing it 11 times. He'll understand and say, well done." Yeah, he'll understand and say, well done. I may have did that as a video here on YouTube. I'd have to do that search. But for any songs that I've called out, Johnny, you can just do search my channel and see if I put a a piece of it or part of it, or if I did it as an actual lesson. It's possible that I have. Actually, I have over 650 videos. One day I'm going to actually count how many I have. I started separating them into playlists. This way, you can search a playlist for Skype summaries that I've done with other students, or search a playlist for hymns, search a playlist for traditional hymns, search a playlist for contemporary songs. This way, you can see what's on that listing of that genre of music. I'm going to go in and clean it up a little bit better than that That's part of my. I started it in the latter part of 2021 with the purpose of going back in and disseminating where all of those 650 videos lie. Because usually I just did them and just stuck them anywhere. Now I can go in and say, okay, you should be in this account in this column. You should be under this column. Because in my early days of doing YouTube videos, I just did them. I wasn't really thinking about where they should be. I just was happy that I could had a camera up, poor camera at that. When I listen to some of the older ones, I go, "Wow, how come I put that video up so horrible?" Well, that's where technology and my pocket was back then. My pocket and technology is in a much greater place than now than where it was when I first started in 2006. So I'm going to possibly redo some of those earlier piano videos because even when I go back and I listen to them, I cringe. I go, "Oh man, look at that raspiness. The piano sounding too loud because it's going through a speaker, through a webcam, which was a cheap webcam because that's what I could afford when I first started." So that's on me. That'll be part of the things that I'm going to be going back to redo. Well, we have 3 that are still watching. Of course, this video will stay live on this site. Just wanted to touch base with my YouTube family, those that have been, as they say, rocking with me all these years and over the past couple of years. If you're new to my stream, I'm going to other sites and dropping my name here and there and other music sites just to let them know that there's a guy out here who loves this kind of music. Not that I hate, not that I am shunning the other, tremendous types of music. Just going to jazz channels, I'm looking at, wow, I wish I had learned from this guy when I was in my teens. I would not we have to learn what he's doing now because it would have helped me in my approach to this kind of music from this type of musician. So I'm always looking to um, increase in what I'm doing. And these type of podcasts that I'm working on now is another evolution of what I am looking to present: conversation and music. As I say, when I did my second breakdown of a song that my second cousin, Rich Tolbert Jr., had sung, I'm in copyright conversations. Hey, how you doing now? Nathan, welcome. I'm in copyright conversations because the copywriter of this song says, "Hey, this guy infringed upon my copyright. He did not use it. He used our song on his channel without permission." And throughout the entire um, video that I did, I said fair use. I am breaking down this song for other musicians to learn how to play this song in the key of E, because most musicians don't play in the key of E. And so I'm in the copyright infringement courts now, where they are now presenting my case to the copyright holder that says, "Hey, this guy wasn't trying to play your song to get looks on his page. He's breaking down the song, which fair use allows you to have commentary and for educational purposes talk about how a song, in my case, how the chords fit, how the melody fits. This is the chord he's playing." I purposely kept saying fair use, fair use. I am critiquing this song from an educational standpoint, but apparently the copyright holder only heard when the 30 seconds that I was playing the song to talk about it. That's all. That's what got them triggered, and that's okay because I need to know the rules. If it has to be only 10 seconds, then I'll cut it down to 10 seconds and say, "Hey, in these 10 seconds, these are the 5 chords you hear in these 10 seconds," and we'll try and piece that together. And that's all part of this new digital world. You don't want to infringe on someone else's work, but if you can help transform and teach how another person to be able to play that music the way it is, how it was created, then you've shared some knowledge. And that's all I'm looking at doing. So for Nathan, you're coming in late. I'm getting ready to get off. I've been on, I think now, how long have I been on here? An hour and 30 minutes. I only expected to do 30 minutes to maybe 45 minutes. But again, when I have conversation, I don't like to just jump off. I like to be able to answer any questions. Let me just make sure as I read through those that are here, that I didn't miss anyone that came in or any questions. Jesse, I still can't pronounce your name, but thanks you for coming in. I'm sure you are from um, the African content. Um, Happy New Year to all of you and all your family and friends over there. I hope that you are safe as we're trying to be safe here in the United States. We're going through again our fourth wave, I think. So we're trying, trying to keep everybody as safe as possible. Johnny, of course, I've got you. Thank you for your participation. You make it easier for me to have something to talk about when you ask questions. Who have missed? J. PD. Um, Hope I've shown you some of those jazz chords that I use. They are not. You won't find. Probably won't find them in the book, but in my interpretation, how I hear them and what I can add or take away from them, I love doing it. Who else came in? And my brother, of course, my brother Vergis. Thank you for coming in. I will post this on my YouTube channel, so you might see it there again. Hopefully, I can share. There's something that I've shared in this podcast as I'm trying to get into the podcast scene that can help someone there. I say I didn't tag in um, YouTube on this one. I'm still learning this atmosphere. As you can see, I've got to create some more scenes so that if I want to go to something real quick, I have this scene built in that I can go to this with this camera that I have there. That's my organ mode scene, but I don't have my organ up. I have other scenes that are for different settings when I'm doing live streaming of Pro Tools or for the for Xbox. I do video games. I'm going to be doing some live streams of me playing video games. Again, these are things that I do as stress busters. I'm getting pretty good playing golf. I think I uploaded one of my golf games, which is one of the best games I had, which means I got too good at it. So I changed it so I can make it harder. But those are the things that I do to help do something in between playing music. You can't be all music all the time. You need to have that release. And for me, video games is that. What else do I have here? Yeah, those are all all the scenes that I have. That scene I had for the last two productions I did, I had a video rolling in the background while I did just music. I'm learning. I watch other content creators, and as you can see, I've got my lighting a little bit better. I put up a screen there to block some of the other stuff I have in the back. You see some of my plaques. I'm trying to think that's behind my left or behind my right. Yeah, okay. You see some of my church musician plaques up on the wall back there. Yeah, I think I got that right. For the 45 years as a church musician. So I like to think I have a good knowledge of what I talk about so that as a musician has a question, I can give them an answer. I'm surprised this light is still on. Usually after an hour it goes out. I've got new lights coming already. I just ordered them that I can plug into a USB port so I don't lose my light. So if it does go out, you'll understand that. But thanks for all of you who have coming in and share the stream. And if you have any questions, you know where to post them. Johnny, once I get your email, I'm sure I have it in there. I have to look and see. I will email you the workbook that I showed you, and hopefully there's something in there that can help you to get more comfortable in your playing. Oh, thank you, Nathan. MIDI is simple. You just need a program that will allow you to connect your keyboard to your computer, and then you just start playing. Now, the other part of that is being able to go in there and fix bad notes. But see, with the program I currently have, I use Pro Tools now. I like Cakewalk. I think if I got on my Windows computer, I have OBS on there also. Cakewalk for me in the Windows environment does a better job fixing MIDI, being able to quantize the notes and line them up better than I can do when I'm in Pro Tools. But I can still do it the same thing in Pro Tools. I just work a little harder in doing it there. So I will keep that in mind. Oh goodness, GB Moshe, I didn't realize you were there. Thanks for coming in. I try to make sure that I acknowledge everyone who comes in, and thank you. I am doing my best. In fact, I noticed that my screen looks a little bluish. This is what I'm learning to do to my camera to take the, to take the blue out of the screen. There we go. I didn't read that in a book. I said, you know what? The camera is, for some reason, the ambience of the light is not giving me the adequate picture. Oh, look at it, it's turning blue again. Maybe it doesn't like the lighting I have in here. Let me do this. Okay, I just changed my ambient lighting. Now it looks like that gives me a much better hue for how I look. Hat looks better now. My face doesn't look blue anymore. This is all part of understanding this environment, and I'm only looking to get better at it. And your conversations and your critiques of me help me get better. As I say, I've got some better lighting coming, so that I don't lose. I'm surprised this light is still on. I think I put a real good charge on it the last time I charged it up. So I expect it to just go out on me. I have additional lighting that I can just reach over and turn on. So if it does go out, I am covered. Again, thanks all of you for coming in. This will, of course, stay up. And I'm looking at trying to do one, at least, I don't say once a day. I have to try and figure out, because I'm retired, so I can stream at 3 o'clock in the morning if I want to. Yeah, that's what I say. Because I find that in YouTube, I can track how many people are on at what particular time during the day, and the most views I get are from 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock in the afternoon, which is strange. But I don't know where people are actually viewing from. It could be all over the world. So as I begin to become more comfortable doing these type of podcasts, it may be that I've got to get on at 12 midnight, because I may have a larger audience who are from the West Coast here in the United States, who have the 3 hour time difference, or who may be in another continent in this world, who may be viewing at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. But there's always a replay, and because again, I want to be able to build a live audience. That's one thing that I have learned from the other content creators, that they are building a live audience, and people will make time to come in and just say hi and participate with them. So that's what I'm looking at doing, and have more conversations than just music. I know I do music now, but I'm trying to keep myself up on current events anywhere, that if just to have someone to talk to, or to, if you're having your morning coffee and you just want, hey, let's talk to Sam while I'm having coffee. Hey, I don't drink coffee, but I can make hot chocolate and just have conversation. Well, everyone, don't believe we have, well, for those who have come in, I appreciate it. I'm going to end this stream, and I'll probably go and hear my stomach growling, which means I have not fed myself correctly, although I did eat, but probably time for a snack. And I'll be able to watch this stream right over again and find my mistakes and make it better the next time. Again, the camera setting looks better now that I changed the light, so that lets me know that keep this ambient light the way it is, so when I get the new ones, this is the color I should have. As you can see, I'm still rocking my merchandise. If you want to support, I have merchandise for sale. This is the hoodie for those of us that are in the throes of the winter season. This will be good for going out and represent Sound of Joy Music Services. I may change this to a different look, maybe make it a little bit smaller, put it maybe to the side to the left. I'll see. That's all part of what I'm doing this year. I have merchandise, I have cups, I have iPad cases, I have tumblers for carrying hot or cold drink. I haven't done suitcases, not suitcases. I haven't done carry cases yet, but I'm going to look at how that is, and maybe not tailor it to my brand name, but tailor it to a church musician. Maybe I can call it musician's bag and put a picture of a Hammond organ drawbar setting on it. If I won't be offending on the copyright of the Hammond Organ Company. It's just to be an image from a drawbar setting from my software. As long as it doesn't say, as long as it doesn't say Hammond on it, it shouldn't bother anyone. But those are the things I'm looking at doing to grow the. Oh, Zelda, welcome for coming in. I must tell Jesus. I have that as a video already. Sam, you have made some monster videos over the years. I think you should revisit some of them with your new setup so we can glean some of your chord movements. Yes, as I say, I've got a lot of old videos that have poor sound because that's where my budget was. Even when I look back at where I started and some of the old stuff I haven't thrown away, I'm like, I can't throw that away because I may have to go back to it one day. Then it's like, no, don't go back to that. Keep going forward. But I've actually, if you've been keeping up with me from November to, I'll say October through November, I have revisited some of those songs. I think you'll see the series that says Play It Again, Sam. Those are some of the songs that I actually revisited. And because I see that some of the music today does not lend itself to the songs I was doing in 2008, 2009, 2010, I'm now looking at doing some of the current songs, which is why I chose, I believe it's I'm Alive by my cousin Rich Tolbert Jr. I actually chose that song because it's from last year. He debuted that album last year, and I never really looked at the song musically, and when I tore it apart and saw that it was an E major, I said, this is a good song to teach because nobody plays an E major. And that is a quote unquote Caucasian key because it is guitar friendly. But when I saw the chorus he was using, yeah, you got elements of some gospel in there too, and that's the approach that I use. Here's what he's using. Here's the gospel chord that he threw in there. But yes, I'm going to look at some of those. Trying to think, what would be one of those songs? I did so many church orientated songs that of testimony that no one sings anymore. Some of the early gospel songs from the big choirs that no one sings because there's no choirs anymore that I can see outside of Ricky Dillard. But his not really a church choir; it's a concert choir. It's kind of hard to go back to some of those old videos that I did that may not be appropriate, as you say, but some of the chord changes and the movements can be expounded on. Where I did it over the overhead keyboard, now I can do overhead keyboards and the notes. Now that I got a faster computer that does that, so I will revisit that. In fact, let me go old school. And bring out the pad and paper. And write in, revisit, because I can still spell. And record with Cordy app. And I'll go 2009 to let's say 2015. I'll give it that span. Because as I say, I've already redone some songs without the Cordy app showing you the chords. I just gave you an upgrade of the song. That was my Play It Again, Sam series. All right, so we had others come in, and I appreciate it. You can do several videos just off your old videos. Such a huge influence. Oh, well, thank you. As I say, when the internet became back in the AOL dial-up days, and I would post 20 or 30 MIDI files every week just to put music out there. Those MIDI files were just for musicians to be able to practice at home. If they had a MIDI player, I think it was the Van Basco MIDI player, they could slow it down and see the notes on a virtual keyboard. Or they could, for those churches who didn't have a musician, they could, if they had a computer, I'm trying to put a computer or a MIDI player. I think they had MIDI players back then. They could actually hook it into their church sound system and have me playing the morning hymn for their church, because I would purposely use a hymnal, the correct key, and the tempo I would use if I was playing it in a church, just to have a church have music in their place. And I've got to go upstairs and monitor my granddaughter. I'm actually watching her too. She's old enough. She can go to the refrigerator and helps herself out to something to drink. One second, I gotta see what the look. Okay, just checking in. Uh-oh. Here she comes. I'm live on YouTube. You want to come say hi? No. You want to come say hi? No? Oh, you're filling your face full of food, aren't you? All right. She's into Roblox. I tried to get into that just to see what it's all about, and that's not for me. But I'll try anything once. Anyway, I'm going to bid everyone a farewell. You have all your MIDI files. I was able to find your old website with MIDIs this weekend. That must be. Oh, here we go. No, they don't see you there. Come over here. No, over here. My granddaughter, she doesn't play a lick, but that's okay. There's always time. Look at the camera there. Say hi.
Hi.
All right. Bye.
Goodbye. Can I have a hot dog?
I'll make you one.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's hungry. So, thank you all once again for coming in and spending some time with me. I've got to go and become the chef now. That's okay. A couple of hot dogs in the George Foreman. I'll have one too. So, if you're able to find my old MIDI files, I think God's Gospel, if they're still alive, has 95% of them. And Roland and Ernestine's site, if they're still active, they had probably 80% of the files that I posted. And again, if you have any questions, leave me comments, concerns, your questions, and I'll be back. Who knows? I may come back on here later tonight. As I say, I'm retired now, so I have no time clock. And I have conversations again with perhaps others that are not watching. The last site is not active. Yeah, a lot of the older sites, the cost of hosting a website is. I just canceled my website. I had a website, stmusician.com, and just before Christmas they hit me with an $800 charge, and I'm like, wait a minute, why am I getting hit with this charge? Oh, well, we're gonna Anyway, I canceled that site. I got back my $800 because it wasn't ready for renewal yet. So I may or may not go back into the website environment. I will see. I may find a site that just lets me have 3 or 4 pages. I don't need all those services that they were offering. But again, that's just part of growing in this space. There's always something that you can do better. Again, thank you all for sharing some time with me. I may or may not be back. Depends on how I'm feeling. If I'm feeling like being up and doing some more conversation as I try to become better at this podcast thing, then if you're awake, certainly come in and take care. Oh, it's not quite nighttime. It's 6 o'clock here, or coming up on 6 p.m. So it's still early. That's why I said I may be back maybe around 10:30, maybe midnight, just so I can meet everyone where they are. But thanks for coming in. Again, don't like to leave anybody out. So I think I covered everybody. We came. DB Moshe came in. Zelda came in. I Must Tell Jesus. I guess you may want me to play that. I'll play that on the way out. I Must Tell Jesus. That is a favorite song of mine. Let's change our scene. And this will be for Zelda. I Must Tell Jesus. I'm trying to remember. I think it's in key of E flat.